Hey guys, welcome back. Drip and Farm for Property. I'm your host, Drip Coach, dropping knowledge bomb on all drip ecosystem related projects. In today's video, we're bringing back our special guest, Mr. Michael Saylor, to cover, of course, Bitcoin. That's all he talks about. If you have not been living under a rock, then you are well familiar with Michael Saylor. If you have been under a rock, then he was the former CEO. He stepped down of MicroStrategy. He is now basically in charge of their Bitcoin adoption part of the company, MicroStrategy, and he is by far the loudest advocate in the space when it comes to traditional retail and company adoption, and was the first to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet for his company. And in this video, he talks about the simplicity of Bitcoin, and there's just about a 2-minute clip that I want to break down because there are some parallels to the Drip network in the Drip ecosystem, or specifically Drip Fountain, Drip network, I guess you could say. But I'm by no means saying that Bitcoin and Drip are the same thing. You'll never hear me say that, but there are some similarities in regards to how you can understand the fundamentals and what this means as we move forward with adoption and kind of immutable contracts. So let's just play that clip real quick, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
Stable coins, when BUSD is not available to me, and when Silvergate and Signature are not available to me, and I need to settle on the weekend, right? I'm driven from those stable coins into Tether, but then if I start to get worried about Tether, what am I going to do? I'm going to go back to old school, and old school was Bitcoin was the unit of account in the crypto economy, right? Tether and stable coins made the US dollar the unit of account in the crypto economy. But I think we see people reverting back to Bitcoin as unit of account. Bitcoin is the reserve asset of the crypto ecosystem. Bitcoin is the safe haven asset.
So just want to touch on that part real quick. So like he mentioned, big people basically came into Bitcoin and then they moved over and started using stable coins as that unit of account. But as they started seeing that volatility, and we saw the meltdown with UST, and then the depegging of literally, I think every single stablecoin has depegged at this stage now. People are like, oh snap, it's time to go back into Bitcoin, right? Now we can say the exact same thing for the Drip ecosystem. So Drip, it wasn't the first, so we had Flow. It wasn't the first ROI DApp, but it was definitely the most sustainable and is the most sustainable. And what happened? People got bored with that because of the timeline and the delays, and they moved into other ROI dApps that literally copied and stole the actual Drip network over to those platforms. And they are no longer with us to most of them. I think some are still scraping by. So you can look at that same similarity that we saw, basically people moving from one over to the other. And then as it got volatile over there, or it collapsed and fell, they have started to come back. And we will definitely see it come back in the bull run, because there's no other ones that'll have the same longevity that we have had so far.
And this is being pounded into people's heads. So some of the money is the crypto assets that are looking for the safe haven. And as you get anxiety about everywhere else, you kind of run to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's not going to screw you. Bitcoin doesn't have a management team to take advantage of you, and it doesn't matter who you are. Don't trust me. You shouldn't trust any politician or any business person anywhere in the world.
That is another fact, right? So he said Bitcoin doesn't have a management team. When nobody knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is, most people suspect it's Hal Finney, and unfortunately he's passed away, hence why that 100,000 Bitcoin hasn't moved. But we could say the same with Drip. Now, we know Forex Shark designed it. We also know he put together that Voltron team with the 5 people that originally in the communities that he reached out to, but it's not managed by any of them. All of us have the ability to take that foundational protocol and run with it and build on top of it. And some have built on top of it already, and some are in the process of being built. But because that contract is there and it's not quote unquote managed, anybody has the freedom to use Drip as they'd like within their ecosystem. So the contract will pay out in perpetuity, that 1% per day of whatever's deposited. Now, clearly, if you build something on top of it, you need to make sure you can afford to have your asset not be inflated to zero due to that 1% being paid out. Similarly, how we are doing with the Change 360 platform, having people pay in another token and just using the buybacks for the Drip network. So that becomes a sustainable model, especially when you're leveraging tech like AI and whatnot. You don't have that, you have a huge margin, basically. You don't have a lot of overhead. Also, like he said, don't trust me, don't trust politicians. Man, that's a fact. Shouts out to Rock Ape. He mentioned this in Twitter space last week with Crypto Night. You need to trust but verify. So you have to eventually get to some level of trust where you believe what someone's saying, that you're willing to look into it. Not trusting them wholeheartedly and blindly just following them, but someone tells you about Bitcoin and you're like, oh, that sounds reasonable, let me look into it. That is about the only trust you need. And that's exactly what we get with the Drip network and the Drip ecosystem, the Drip community. And that's what we're building with the Drip Marketing DAO, trying to prove to you guys that we will indeed do what we said we can do, and that by our combined efforts, we will be able to rally the Drip price by bringing this over into an entirely different audience, rather than everybody trying to rob Peter to pay Paul in the same closed ecosystem I mentioned to you guys before. So I think that's huge. Even like I mentioned to you guys about my content, I've been trying to put out all this stuff. Don't trust me. Let me show you. Let me first tell you what I'm going to do. Let me do what I told you I'm going to do. Then let me follow that up with telling you what I did. So that way there's no doubt. And then you, on top of that, go onto the blockchain and verify everything that I just said. That's what I'm working on. And that's the whole point that I'm trying to bring to space. That is exactly what the trustless environment of DeFi is meant to be. It's transparency, not the blockchain and crypto, period. It's meant to be the transparency so you can look on the back end and know that this wallet that's interacting has the tokens to pay it out, and the protocol, the contract, the smart contract, the math will indeed verify. It says it has 100 USDC, and it does indeed have 100, not 99.999, and it will make sure that those checks and balances are in place. All right, let's go to the last part real quick.
You should trust a protocol. The one thing I'm sure of, reasonably sure of, is that the number 9 will be interpreted to mean 9 by billions of people in a year. And the word love and the word hate will be interpreted to be love and hate by a billion English speakers in a year. And 1 BTC equals 1 BTC, and I can run my node. So the protocols are actually, people got bored with Bitcoin and in the crypto world. And they started thinking, it's boring, I missed the boat. And they stopped appreciating the beauty and the simplicity of a protocol. And now I think they're rediscovering it. And I
feel the same way. So like you said, the number 9 will mean the number 9. Love and hate will mean the love and hate to everyone a year, 2 years, 10 years from now. And that is exactly the way the Drip network smart contract is written. As long as Binance is here, that contract will pay out 1% per day of what you and 3.65% X on whatever you put into it. That's something to not take lightly. The ability to make a contract actually work and pay out as intended. Yeah, we can complain about the price, but that's all we can complain about. You can't complain that it doesn't work. Even the UI has been up the entire time. You might get a bug or two where you got to refresh. And I think Binance had a brief outage once or twice, but you could always, as long as Binance is up, you can interact on the back end on the BSC scan. So again, that's nothing to take lightly. And as he mentioned, people just got bored with it. They wanted the new shiny thing. They wanted the next ROI DApp with new improved features. They wanted the 2% per day. They wanted the 3% per day, whatever it is. And that's what's happened to the Drip community. It's just basically gotten distracted and forgotten the beauty of what we have here. But luckily right now, it seems as though everybody is back focused and on track and moving forward. And there's a lot of things being developed. And I think this is just the beginning of all that use case, utility, and development coming to the community. But I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that just with the marketing DAO we've created, that we have the ability to really transform the Drip ecosystem. Yes, there's a lot of max wallets, not a lot compared to the total amount, 1 to 2%. Yes, there's a lot of Drip in circulation. There's a lot in people's wallets, all that stuff. But still, this protocol, the way it's designed and its infancy of where we're at in the adoption curve of the entire crypto space gives us a lot of room to grow. All we have to do is build utility and market. And if the utility can buy back drip more and faster than the people with max wallets, which is not hard to do, we got 30,000 people and 2%, well, 150,000 wallets, 2% are maxed out. And even as those max wallets make more max wallets, all you have to do again is have more utility built into the ecosystem. And you got stuff like Brick by Brick, where I think it's a small percent, but they're buying back drip with, actual houses. You got my Change 360 platform, able to market to a much, much broader audience all over the world that will be buying back drip. I forgot some of the other projects, but the point is, the more things that we can build, the drip marketplace that I wanted to build, there needs to be a decentralized marketplace out there. All that stuff. If you can build something out there that a portion of the revenue goes and buys back drip, then you literally have this infinite money printer that you cannot beat. Compound interest being the eighth wonder of the world. This is something to not take lightly, and all we have to do is actually put in the work, spread the word, get additional adoption, and put in the utility for this. Forex will design his utility and his ideas, but that is nothing stopping the community from innovating and adding utility in their own spaces. So just wanted to share those similarities with you from Bitcoin bull, Mr. Michael Saylor. And as always, hope it provides some value. If it did, smash that HBO special, brother out, like, subscribe, comment down below. And until next time, live daily and achieve your impossible. See you. Want to pay your in real life bills with crypto? How about send crypto directly to anyone with a bank account? Spritz Finance is a decentralized solution to be your own bank and connect your crypto earnings to real world bills and payments. They do not take custody of your assets and allow support on multiple blockchains and Web3 wallets. Sign up below using my referral link and you will get $50 back when you make your first $50 bill payment with crypto. Additionally, I will be using referral bonuses to airdrop, donate, or burn based on community feedback. Sign up now.